The promise of AI has long loomed as one of the biggest transitions that our society will endure over the coming generations. However, the resources required to compute for normal AI are normally far too expensive to justify for normal use cases. So today we're going to be talking about a decentralized computation network that is here entering into the blockchain, looking to take up market share not just from decentralized applications, but helping actually enter into the cloud computing race with an incredible and disruptive new product that I pretty much have heard nobody talking about. Today we're going to be talking about a project called Akash Network, and they're trying to solve some pretty significant problems, not just here in the cryptocurrency world, but far beyond in the cloud computing space as we enter into 2021, which some have called the year of the decentralized web. If you guys are excited to hear about a bleeding edge decentralized computation project, then all you have to do is smash that like button. And of course, remember that each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. With that said, let's dive in. So today we're going to be talking about Akash Network, which essentially is the DeCloud for DeFi. There have been several instances of decentralized storage projects, but in this particular instance, this is a decentralized computation network, which will essentially glue the decentralized storage projects together. If you think about the big behemoth that is Filecoin, something like Akash would actually work to help decentralized computing take place for decentralized storage. We're going to talk about all the aspects of this project, but this is one of the biggest things that they're doing here is they're allowing for you to compute for a fraction of the cost because of the decentralized nature of their project. And you can see here that they're allowing for you to save 10x on your cloud bill, essentially doing computations for essentially half a penny, a little under half a penny. They're doing computations, whereas Microsoft Azure is about, 5 cents a nickel. All these other projects are, 3 to 5 cents here between Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Amazon Web Services. Now, these guys also have some pretty significant chops as they were associated with the team that developed Firebase, which is Google's new cloud infrastructure. But really what I wanted to focus on here is the big vision here. This is an article by Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the #1 sort of investment firms in Silicon Valley. They're talking about the new business of AI and how it's different from traditional software. And they point out various issues that are created by the lack of available and affordable computational resources. So they're saying at a technical level, artificial intelligence seems to be the future of software. AI is showing remarkable progress on a range of difficult computer science problems, and the job of software developers who now work with data as much as source code is changing fundamentally in the process. However, we have noticed in many cases that AI companies simply don't have the same economic construction as software businesses. At times, they can even look like more traditional service companies. In particular, AI companies have lower gross margins due to heavy cloud infrastructure usage and ongoing human support, scaling challenges, weaker defensive modes. Early stage private capital can hide these inefficiencies in the short term. Essentially, what they're saying here is that smaller AI companies can essentially bag some clients based on hype and excitement, but as it scales out, the actual reality of using these products are really computation heavy, have many edge cases as they're talking about down here. AI is based on really unstructured data like human language, and in the case of self-driving cars, like the way that streets and roads are formed, which is very unstructured. It's not essentially very limited in what can happen. So in theory, AI saves a lot of time, energy, and money and evolves a ton of industries, but in practice, the amount of computational resources and human resources needed to essentially make AI into a reality is beyond our current reach by a significant measure. So Akash's ability here to reduce computational cost to literally 1/10 of the current competitors is something that should not be overlooked, as this cost of AI computation is one of the biggest essentially barriers to AI being functional. Leveraging something called advanced containerization technology, Akash uses a unique staking model to accelerate adoption. It is a faster, more efficient, and lower cost cloud built for DeFi, decentralized projects, and high growth companies, providing unprecedented scale, flexibility, and price performance, up to 10x lower cost than the market. Their serverless computing platform is compatible with all cloud providers and all applications that run on the cloud, easily integrating with companies' existing technology stack. As the world's first decentralized cloud computing marketplace, Akash leverages 85% of underutilized cloud capacity in 8 8.4 million data centers, Akash enables anyone to buy and sell cloud compute. And so essentially what they're saying is they're enabling this sort of decentralized web here with low-cost cloud computing, just to dumb it down here. And they also have amazing tokenomics and staking model. So to summarize, some of the highlights of this project are that their Q2 2020 incentivized testnet, the Akashian Challenges, had over 200 team registrations for 64 mainnet validator slots, 100 active validators, and 2 community-built block explorers. Their testnet was one of the second largest incentivized testnets since Cosmos, Game of Stakes, and the largest active testnet compared to ETH 2.0, the largest existing testnet for a pre-liquid project. In Q3 2020, they launched their mainnet. In Q4 2020, they had 2,500 deployments on their testnet with almost 400 developers. They have a comparable amount of developers to the Polkadot ecosystem and more than Ethereum had at the same stage of their project. Now, the Q4 testnet's unique application catalog included a ton of games, obviously simple games, but they're just testing stuff out here. Super Mario, Minesweeper, Tetris, Pac-Man, and Doom. They also had DeFi apps like Serum, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Yearn, SushiSwap, Thorchain, Curve, Synthetics, Bancor, Balancer, etc. They also had blogs, databases, hosting, continuous integrations, and their partnerships currently include Solana, Kava, Interchain Foundation, Chainlink, and Tendermint, as well as Orion VM and Packet, which was acquired by Equinix, which is the largest data center provider in the world. Pretty much what I mean to say is the fundamental value here of the Akash network is superb. And they have a ton of real value that they've created already up to this phase, and they're still, in my opinion, in a very, very infancy stage compared to what they're trying to achieve with this project. And so now it's time for us to talk a little bit about the token, the AKT token, which in my opinion is, while it's not as low cap as some things I like to cover, the reality is that this is a fundamentally really strong project. And if they achieve their goals, I believe that this is pretty much a very, very undervalued project. Let's talk a little bit about what essentially the market they're looking to address is, which currently is looking to be a $370 billion market by 2022. Obviously, this market is dominated by the big guys, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Alibaba Cloud. So they're projecting out about 2 years from now, saying that, if the total number of AKT Genesis tokens at launch is 100 million, and that the projected cloud services spending by 2023 is 370 billion, their total addressable market or TAM, and that their proposed take rate is 20%, that essentially what they're doing here is assuming if they get a 1% market penetration, again, maybe that's wishful, but if they get a 1% market penetration by 2023, then what they'll be doing is actually taking 20% of their $3.7 billion revenue, which is their 1% addressable market, and they'll be distributing that to token holders. So essentially what they're saying is that $740 million could be distributed to token holders as a dividend simply for holding Akash and staking it. And so to be a participant in AKT network, they're saying that if they achieve this goal of a 1% market penetration, again, maybe that's wishful, maybe they're overestimating that by, 10x. But the reality is that for every Akash token, you'd be earning $7.40 per token. Currently, Akash Network is trading for 72 cents. So at this rate, you'd be earning 1,000% APY if the price was just to stay where it is at a $19 million market cap. Now, I personally think they've got some room to grow there. And we'll talk about in a second the ridiculous rate of staking that they've achieved. Almost 90% of their tokens have been staked. You can see that having nothing to do with token value, but obviously it does have a lot to do with token value, because if they are having these kinds of earnings, then the reality is that this would drive up the value of their token tremendously. These are the numbers that if they end up having a 1% market penetration by 2023, each Akash would be earning $7.40 per token, which is currently 10x what their current value is. More importantly, I like how actively their tokens have been staked. And currently you can stake through Cosmos Station. I'm actually going to become a validator. I really like this project. I like their tech. I've spoken with their team. They're really, really competent. So I'm going to be setting up my own validator node and showing you guys how to stake Akash. And essentially, I think it would be cool if the Elio Trades community formed like a validator node community. So if you guys think that's cool, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be setting up my own validator node with my bag of Akash, and then hopefully we can get together a nice validator node. And again, there's rewards for doing this. They have about a 50% APY for AKT for staking right now. So I'll be staking AKT. This is kind of like a long-term play for me. Again, if they achieve what they're trying to achieve, I believe that the value of the token and of course the dividends that they would pay to the token holders in the form of, their essential dividends on their cloud computing business makes sense to hold the token to me on the chance that they could achieve that. And this is their super mini. So they also did some like hardware here where they allow you to quickly plug this in and become a validator for the network. And this is just a really cool product. I mean, like it looks cool. And they sold out of these. They sold 1,000 of these. They sold 300 of these in just a couple minutes, and each one was like $1,000. And so they're adept at not only building these products, but I think hardware is kind of a hard business to get into, and they've already done a really good job here at getting in and delivering a hardware product. So that speaks to me high volumes about their execution team as well, because it is hard to develop, produce, and distribute hardware. That's a fact. And so Akash is not only on the bleeding edge of decentralized computing, but they're also building some really interesting hardware. Their execution team is up there with the best of them. They have buy-in from the likes of Solana, FTX, some other major investors, as well as their tech allows for very simple deployment to decentralized cloud infrastructure. There's very little friction for you to then deploy what was previously on normal cloud infrastructure to the decentralized cloud, allowing for it to be immutable, unstoppable, and all that good stuff. Adding to all this is really strong tokenomics, where you could actually make a dividend from Akash network for simply holding the token and staking it. And it's no surprise that they have reached almost 90% of their total supply, of their total circulating supply staked. And that is a feat that I've seen almost no projects achieve. I think they actually set the record here. Correct me if there's any project that has achieved over a 90% staking rate as not a complete microcap that no one's ever heard of. In the end, I'm impressed with Akash's technology. I'm impressed with Akash's team and execution with the Super Mini and a variety of other factors. They're quickly attracting the attention of some blockchain heavyweights, but to me, the chatter around Akash is really all too quiet given how disruptive this project could potentially be. So I'm personally going to be holding a big bag of it and staking it in the event that this thing does end up becoming anything close to what it seems like it could. And of course, the 50% APY is a nice safeguard in case there is some drop in price. However, given the fact that this thing is only on some random tier 2 exchanges, it's not even on Uniswap, it's currently only on BitMax. And if you guys are looking to sign up for BitMax, I have a link in the description below. It supports the channel, so I appreciate it if you use it. However, the reality is that this project is still very much, in my opinion, under wraps. Even at a 20 million market cap, it's still very much so in its infancy, as they've just had their lead up to mainnet and they still haven't been listed on any real major exchanges. It's not a super low cap gem that's going to 10x off the rip here. However, the long-term potential for this one is certainly there. The tech is there. The team is super competent and has the chops, having worked in some of the most bleeding edge cloud infrastructure projects. So there's a lot going on under the hood here, and certainly the buzz in the crypto space has not matched up or stacked up to what I think Akash Network's potential truly is. And so I'm pretty excited to be introducing a lot of you guys to Akash AKT. I do want to become a validator for this network. It's actually the first network I've wanted to become a validator for. So this isn't something I've really done a lot or really tried to do before, but I do think that their tokenomics are interesting enough, and I think their network's interesting enough. I'm going to be setting up and staking my tokens, as well as hopefully we can get a cool community together over on Akash Network. Let me know what you guys think about Akash, if you guys are excited for it. And of course, if you got some value out of it, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. It's a free and easy way to support the channel. As always, if you guys like learning about the most undervalued and new exciting projects in the space, then all you have to do is subscribe and put that bell notification on, and you'll be the first ones in the world made aware when I think projects are cool and interesting, and in this case, undervalued. As usual, my name's Elio Trades. If you want to connect with me personally, feel free to follow me on Twitter, join my Telegram groups. The links for both of those are in the description. As usual, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.